All right. So we bought this house in early 2020. I think we moved in around April. So we were in the house for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I decided I wanted to clean the clawfoot tub that was up here on the top floor. So I put a bleach water mixture in the tub, let it sit for a couple days, and then I drained it, not thinking anything about it. And the next morning, after I drained it, I woke up to water dripping in the ceiling of the dining room. So, yeah, that kind of prompted us to start renovating this house a whole lot sooner than we expected. So, tip number one is have a refuge. Always, always, always have a place that you can go, close the doors, and you don't see construction. I had that space. It was our parlor on the main floor. And that was for the first 3 years that we did this, did the construction and the renovation and everything. But I was able to close the doors and I didn't have to look at anything. And so that brings me to tip number 2 as well, is only do one bathroom at a time or leave a bathroom if you have more than 2. You want to make sure that you have a place that you can go and get clean every single time, because yeah, you're going to get dirty when it comes to renovations, especially if you're doing an old house and taking out plaster and lath. It's filthy. So you need to have a place that you can use the restroom and get clean and everything that's also away from the construction. And bathrooms are expensive. So doing one at a time helps it so that you're not gouging money spending it on bathrooms and kitchens. Like if you do one bathroom and a kitchen, then you can save some money while you're finishing up. You can do some other rooms, and then you can save money for the bathroom that you were living out of. Or you might find that you actually don't mind how it functions and you don't redo it if you are trying to save money. So, I mean, the options are endless with that one, but I truly, and make sure that the bathroom has a shower, because we did not have any showers in this house until we got the upstairs bathroom done. And then we were trudging through construction when we did get the bathroom done up here, just so that we could shower and not have to take baths, because I'm not gonna lie, I am not a bath girl. I'm definitely not a bath girl after living in this house and having to take baths for a year and a half. So tip number 3 is one that I wish I would have done, and that is organize your stuff. When you come into a renovation, you need to live with bare bones. Do not have a bunch of stuff. Do not bring your entire life into the space. If you have a basement, or if you have somewhere or a garage or something that you can have storage, put up some shelves and have some organized storage. Put it in plastic containers, label it, everything. Just make sure that you do, because we didn't in this house. And so we were moving boxes in and out of rooms and all of this stuff, and it was so exhausting and time consuming. When you are doing a renovation by yourself, time is so valuable, and you don't need to be spending that time running up and down stairs or running in and out of the house with boxes that when you moved in, you could have put them in their home until you absolutely needed them. So with organizing comes my fourth tip of clean where and when absolutely necessary. So what I mean by that is my rule is if we are going to be interacting with the space during the coming week from Saturday to Saturday, that space needs to get cleaned. So a good example is when I was postpartum, I stayed in my bedroom because we had completed our bedroom. And AJ, my husband, was in the other two rooms up here putting up sheetrock, cutting out stuff for the electrical, doing all of that stuff. And I didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to think about it. He was able to go in, do his stuff, put his tools down, take a shower, come in here, call it a night. On our living room, we don't get that luxury because we walk through that space every single day. And so with it getting torn into, it had to get vacuumed, swept, mopped. Everything had to get cleaned because we have a very mobile 7-month-old. And that led to needing to make sure these spaces are cleaned. And we also didn't want to be tracking that dust upstairs into the house part that is complete. So pick your battles, only clean where and when is necessary, and just make sure that everything is up to your standards because your standards might be different than mine. My fifth tip is when you are done with a room, decorate it how you believe you want it to function. An example for this is we got these 2 rooms done up here, and we talked about, well, we could just use them for storage. We're not going to use all of the tools downstairs right away, so we could leave some up here. But then I was like, no, we probably need to take all the tools downstairs. And then we had family that was coming into town. So that kind of pushed us into, yeah, we definitely have to set these rooms up. And I am so glad that we did that because I get to walk past those rooms anytime I'm going downstairs or anytime I'm going to the bathroom. I get to look at those 2 rooms with beds made and them looking nice and tidy. And it helps me keep my sanity a little bit because I walk downstairs and I see the mess. So, and then it's also nice because then you get kind of a big picture done and then you can do little tweaks and you can actually put wall art up and you can do the things that you want to do to make the house more of a home. And I think it's awesome because then like I said, a lot of the legwork is done. My 6th tip is demo as much as you can in one go round. We weren't able to really do that here because it was a lot. So we only did a few rooms at a time. Like in 2020, we tore into the dining room and the bathroom up here because of the leak that I mentioned earlier. But then in 2021, we tore into the secondary or the little room off of the bathroom. And yeah, that was it for 2021. Then 2022, we tore into the master and the room off the master and the hallway in 2022. That one was awesome because we were able to do one demo, one cleanup for the most part. We had to clean up the hallway a little bit so that we could shower. But then we had all of that done, and then over the winter, we got to run our electrical and do the insulation and do kind of the remedial tasks that need to be done before you can put sheetrock up. And then in the spring, we were able to get the sheetrock up. It was awesome. So I highly recommend that, especially if you're doing an old house that has plaster and lath in it. It takes forever. It does. And it's just, yeah, and it's a mess. And so if you can only make 1, 2, maybe 3 messes, great. We've had to make a lot, and we definitely are like, okay, yep, if we do another renovation, we're not living in it. But here we are. We're here, and this is what we're doing. But yeah, just streamline it as much as possible, because I mean, from start to finish, when we actually like cracked down and got everything done, we started wiring like the winter of 2023, and then we were moved up in this room by mid-January of 2024. So we went pretty quick with the upstairs and everything, and it would have went faster if I wasn't pregnant, because I wouldn't have been able to help a lot more. But I was not able to lift a bunch of weight and everything like that. So here we go. But my 7th and final tip, and it kind of encompasses everything that I've talked about, is give yourself grace. Rome wasn't built in a day. You are not an HGTV star that has a whole crew behind them. You also, if you're like me and my husband, you work a full-time job out of the house. And up until March of 2024, after I gave birth, we did that. We both worked full-time jobs outside of the home. That left us with nights and weekends. In 2021, January of 2021 to be exact, we started going to church on Sundays. Well, that now cut into time that we were going to be spending working on the house. But it helped us, because in those 6 months between July 2020, the beginning of July 2020, to the middle/end of January 2021, we hit it hard. And I'm not going to lie, we were exhausted. So us going to church and taking Sundays off allowed us to kind of recoup before the week. And we were working on the nights. But then I got pregnant. Wasn't able to do nights as much. We hit it hard on Saturdays. I mean, we would go from 8 a.m. to 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, just to try and make sure that we had progress and make sure that we had a room that was done in the house before the baby arrived. That was my one goal. But we just had to continuously give ourselves the grace that we needed, and we still do. I still look at the house and go, oh my gosh, we have so much to do, da 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 da. But then I have to bring myself back to earth and say, AJ works a full-time job. I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom with a 7-month-old. It's not going to get done. We do have a time that we need to have this done, or at least have sheetrock up, because we have our final inspection for our electrical that we pulled our permit for in March of 2026. So that at least needs to have sheetrock up and outlet covers on for him to come and do his final inspection. So, yeah, like I said, if you're in the same boat as us, or even if you're just living in part of a house renovation, if you're not doing the whole house like us crazies, then just remember this. Remember to give yourself all of the grace that you would give a child that's learning something new. Because odds are, have you done this before? No. I mean, I lived in renovations when I was a child, but I was a child and I was kind of had to do it. But it was fine. I'm still wanting to do it as an adult. So if you feel bad about your kids living in a renovation, my husband lived in one, I lived in one, and we're living in one again. So, yeah. But to wrap this all up, doing this, living in a fixer-upper renovation, whatever you want to call it, it's hard. And it requires a lot of patience. However, the reward when you get this house finished, it's so amazing to turn around and look at a house that you fixed, that you did, because that is one of the greatest things that you can do in regards to outside of raising children. And, I've taken some of the skills that I've learned from redoing a house and requiring the patience with raising my baby girl. I do give myself grace, and I do a lot of these things with raising my child as well. So just remember, you're not an HGTV star. You're not a YouTuber that probably does this full time. And if you are, awesome. I'm not. I'm just starting out, trying to document what's going on in our little lives. But we've all got this. We're doing great things. And don't let anybody tell you that you're taking the character out of the house or anything like that. Because you know what? You are doing what you believe is best. And that's what matters. So go get them.